Welcome to Shorts Beyond Measure, where fashion, interiors, and psychology get the stylish, savvy, and slightly therapeutic touch.
We're Tara West, Caroline Baltz, and Allison Goldberg, a fashion stylist and 2 interior designers who are also trained as psychotherapists.
So let's get into what's trending, what's tired, and what's actually worth your time. Because good style and good decisions should never be short-lived.
Hello, ladies!
Woo, what's going on?
Well, guess what? We convinced somebody else to join us.
Sucker, I showed up.
Yeah.
Caroline, introduce us to this beautiful woman.
I'm so excited. Dawn Davis is a psychotherapist, psychologist researcher, gone yoga teacher,
Gone rogue.
gone rogue. And she does so many things. Written a book, Mom as You Are, has the Ember Circle, which is a way of bringing women together to talk about really important topics. She's a healer. She's a beautiful soul, and I'm so happy to have you. Welcome.
Wow, thank you. That is quite an intro. I love to be here. Thank you.
We're so excited to have you. And I will say, we only take good energy people. And the second I met you, I was like, she's really good energy.
Well, we should set the landscape because I've known Dawn for over 10 years. I've taken her yoga class, which is at the Windsor Club in Newton in their neighborhood center, Wednesdays at 9:30.
That's right.
Right? And she's been teaching that for a really long time. I live for it. It's my church.
Is it hot yoga? Regular yoga.
Regular.
Okay.
Yep.
So you know when you're working hard.
Oh, yeah.
Because hot yoga, you could literally stand there and sweat.
I do that.
Oh,
She does.
maybe I could do hot yoga then. You don't have to actually do it.
The only reason why I ask is people are going to probably want to start taking your class, and people, some like it, some don't.
Yes, exactly. Well, hot yoga is fun. In fact, that's how I initially got trained. I love hot yoga. And then as I proceeded through, let's say, the lifespan, I realized that I was feeling a little weaker after some of the classes. So I started to work in teaching in room temperature. Because when you're twisting in room temperature, you can feel, oh, I'm really working. Mm-hmm. And when you're in the heated yoga space, you're definitely working, but it's a different level. Mm-hmm. It's all great.
You're not as aware of what's going on in your body.
Beautiful way to put it. Exactly.
Thank you, Dawn. Look at me. Everyone, I just
She
sounded
nailed it.
smart.
But you can find her on Mind Body, Dawn Davis Yoga.
That's right.
And then the other piece of sort of our landscape together, so the yoga classes together, and then when you moved from Newton,
Yes.
you hired Allison and me, Psychological
I
Oh,
Interiors, to come and
did.
zhuzh up your house.
I did. And you guys, they transformed our space from a B+, I would say, to an solid A, probably A+. It was so exciting to work with you guys. It was nourishing and really up-leveled us.
And so now we can really dig into what their
Let's do
behavior
it.
is like.
Been
So
waiting for this.
speaking, no.
the good
So
stuff.
when you hired them, did you know Caroline before, or were you like,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Caroline and I have known each other,
For a
as she
long-
was saying, about 100 years or so
Yeah,
now?
about 100.
And so were you excited? Did you kind of have an idea of what you want, or how did these ladies walk in and take over?
Well, they did take over, and in very different styles. So Caroline would be like, so what do you think about possibly da-da-da-da? And Allison would be like, this kind of sucks, so we're going to go in a different direction.
Yes, I love this.
But
It was awesome. It was a great team.
We clicked right off the bat. I wouldn't do that with everyone. I knew Dawn could take me, and Caroline like told me I could be myself with you.
I love
So-
that you were that way. And I love that that was the team, because it was like not quite good cop, bad cop, but it was this feeling of like, all right, there's some brass tacks, and then there's also the soft landing. And it was just perfect.
I'm gonna guess I was not the soft landing.
Well, you are in your own special way.
I love to hear that because I haven't worked with them in that regard. So it's really nice to get some insight here.
They were amazing. And they really transformed the space. It was really quite
you.
a remarkable difference.
We had some really good bones to start with.
yes.
So we were very lucky to have that little project with you. So thank you.
Creative. It was my pleasure entirely.
Yeah, so fun. Okay, but so how did you go from being a psychologist, and tell us a little bit about the research that you were doing then, and then into yoga teacher and group leader and healer and Yeah, everything.
Thank you so much. Well, it's a little bit of a journey, but I think one that people can relate to. I was doing research. I was studying adolescent girls' development. I was looking at development gone awry, really.
Ooh, Allison. She arranged subjects.
Allison, yet again, the perpetual participant in our study.
I actually did have depression as an adolescent, and I really don't like how you said that. I'm very offended.
Okay, good, because I did too.
Just kidding. I'm not that liberal.
Well, and not to get too personal, but did you go into this field because there was a connection for you?
Absolutely. So, like these amazing women are talking about, there was a part of me that was definitely depressed, definitely anxious. And the way I dealt with it is I stayed one step ahead of thinking. I was super busy. You would never have known. But inside, there was a deeper suffering where I wasn't dealing with it.
So you masked it, which I think a lot of kids do.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the work that I was doing was looking at adolescence in context. So neighborhood context, family context, how these contextual influences impacted not only depression, but also the expression of depression and anxiety. And we also looked at some delinquency and pregnancy and behaviors like that. And that was really interesting. And I was at Harvard Medical School doing research. I was at Harvard School of Public Health, kind of on this fast track. And then I started to disconnect from it because I realized I wasn't actually helping the people I was studying.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So did you feel like you were just putting information out there, but you weren't
Exactly.
seeing results?
Yes. And the results are really about policy. And one of the studies I was working on was a study of people who were impoverished. And the New York Times did a beautiful spread on our study. And in it, they laid out in one of the first sentences that this study of poor people pulled in over $41 million. Now, this was 20 years ago, right? So that's a lot of money to study poor people, but there was no intervention. There was no job skills research. There was nothing that was actually helping them. So it made me begin to really see, is this how I want to spend my lifeblood? Because I went into this work because I wanted to help people. So then I took off a couple of years to help raise my oldest and then middle daughter. And before my third daughter came along, I got into yoga. And so that was 20 years ago, and just found it to be super healing for myself in a way that talk therapy is, but also missed something. So one of my first teachers is a psychotherapist who brings embodied psychology into the healing space. So I really resonated with Bo Forbes, worked with her. She was incredible, and then I did a 500-hour with Natasha Raspoulis, and have just been in trainings ever since because I love this stuff. And what I realized is that the way that we were traditionally approaching healing missed a somatic component. And I really wanted my work to include that. So that's how I kind of traversed. Because even though we're holding so much and we can talk about it, and I think talk therapy is really important, there's another element that for me complements it and completes the circle.
I love hearing you say it that way. I've never actually had this conversation with you, but literally when I go to your yoga class, it's like a therapy session. Like, and you read the room, like, I'm not the only one in there, right? Like, but you say these nuggets, or like one term I hear you say in my head all the time is it's the you to you relationship, which to me just denotes like, how do you live authentically? But I want to know,
I love that.
What does that mean when you say that? What are you meaning behind it, or what's that context for you?
It's a great question. So when I say the you to you, I'm talking about there's multiple layers of who we are. Not to get too sort of philosophical, but one of those layers is the worrier. And this is the one that's always managing and organizing and figuring it all out, and impression management and everything included in making it work. And then there's the you at the higher level, the spiritual you, the you that is eternal, the you that is that divine spark, the you that is beyond all of the chatter that happens. So when I'm saying you to you, I'm asking you to have that communication within our yoga class between that part of you that worries and has to get it right, and the part of you that knows, that's wise, that loves, that accepts you with so much genuineness that it does feel divine.
I wish you could teach that to our adolescent girls now.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think that, not to bring it back to that,
please
but
do.
there's so many girls who suffer more than ever because of social media and all these things thrown in their face. so much more than we had, which we were already experiencing it as adolescents.
Such a
That
great
if they
point.
had this, what you just said would open their minds in so many ways.
You're right. And there was a study done, I believe it was in a part of Africa, and I can't remember which part, but they introduced, the girls were given an inventory or a questionnaire about how they felt about their bodies and their lives, and they were super body positive without the word
the
body
Fujian
positive. Is this the
women's
one?
study. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course
She read the study.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're the geek with me today.
I love being a geek. Or is it a nerd or a dork? I don't know, but whatever it is, it's
cool.
good.
Yeah, you guys make it cool.
And so what they did, do you want to speak
No,
on
take it.
Well, what I understand that they did is that the girls were feeling really positive about themselves, and then they introduced social media to them, and then they gave them the questionnaire again, and the scores were whoop, whoop,
Yes.
whoop, way down, because the comparison piece makes us no longer sit in the heart of who we are, which is the most beautiful, spectacular, non-comparative thing you can be. But we lose touch with it.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going to cry. This is like so meaningful. I might actually come to your yoga class.
I would love for you to
And
come
then
to
I
my
want you to
yoga
do a yoga class for my kids. Okay. Should we just stop this and do a yoga class right now?
That'd be so fun.
Downward dog, Dave.
Maybe later, Allison.
Ooh, it really is amazing, though. I think therapy is so important. Well, we were all therapists, so we
Yes.
could all say talk therapy is a wonderful thing. But there's so many other ways to connect with that, along with talk therapy. You know, I think, and I don't think medication is a bad thing ever, so I'm not saying that, but I think we're very quick to give medication. My kids go to sleepaway camp, as some of, I think Allison's do, and my kids say the line for meds is out of control. My kids are only 3 of kids who are not on medication.
Wow.
At camp.
Yeah, my kids aren't on
And
anything
so,
either.
if they needed it, of course, but I think we're just very quick to be able to medicate, even as adults, I think. So, to have something like this yoga that you're speaking of and how you, bring the two together is so important for people to know.
Well, building on that, and I think, you're touching on a really important aspect of yogic healing art, which is that the yogis didn't have medicine. We didn't have, psychopharmacology. They didn't even have talk therapy, right? They had moving their bones through space in a certain way, using pranayama, breathing, and meditation, in order to achieve states of higher consciousness where you're not saddled by the, what is this 3 by 2 inch glass device that we all carry in our pockets that tell us that we're just not good enough.
It's true.
See, you can hit nirvana without drugs, Allison.
Well, no, it's funny because something came up on my 2-inch by 6-inch device recently that was telling me that you can reach a state, I guess you say heightened awareness, but I think it's like a psychedelic state or a drug-induced state just from the deep breathing.
Absolutely.
And obviously I want to try that.
Yes.
Or
We could do it. It'll make a lot of puff noises into the microphone, but we could do it off air.
But, recently I did ayahuasca in July, and I'm very pro talk therapy, but I felt like I needed something different. I needed something to go deeper.
Yes.
And we did a lot of yoga there, and it was just the whole process of all of that. I'm a very happy person, but I always had this level of sadness. It wasn't depression. It was just something that I couldn't knock, and it is gone.
Wow.
And
That
it
is
is gone.
remarkable.
And I've never felt that gone in my whole life.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh,
Wow.
that's so
I
beautiful.
know.
I know.
That
And I was
is-
petrified to go.
So
Petrified.
what was the experience like?
Yeah,
to
I mean,
interview you,
not
but-
to, no,
We've
we don't need to
talked
be,
about
yeah,
it.
we've talked
I mean,
about
the
it.
lesson is everyone should do ayahuasca.
No, for me, it was, it was a very beautiful thing. My intentions were met, and I was petrified. I'm petrified of drugs for so many reasons, but I overcame a lot of things, not just doing the ayahuasca, but that in itself was it. But I think it's the whole experience of what I did, and I did it on my own, and I did it because of this reason is I feel like there's other ways to heal.
Yes. Absolutely. And so yoga's one of them. Yeah.
I have a question, just contrary to popular belief. I actually am somewhat spiritual, and and have done a lot of work, through my heart chakra. So is that what you're talking about in your classes? Do you go to the heart chakra?
We do
kind of
mention
move
chakras,
yeah.
yes, and definitely move energy.
Yes.
And I think for a lot of women, and my classes, I'd say 100% women right now, and has been since the pandemic, interestingly enough. But for a lot of us, we're not in our legs, we're not in our hips, we're in our heads. And that's why the somatic approach can help cut through the resistance that can happen in a talk therapy space, or even when you get an insight and you're like, oh, I know why I'm doing this, but then sometimes we still get habit overriding it. So we do talk about the root chakra as really key, and also through, standing in your legs in standing postures. In the Ember Circle, we did a Dantian practice, which is from the martial arts. We focus primarily on the lower Dantian, because if we're embodied in our body through our hips, then we can open our hearts. If we don't feel sturdy, it's harder to let this expand.
And this meaning heart.
This meaning heart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's stop on this note.
I know.
And
Next,
then we'll continue.
part 2, we'll
But
talk
I have
about your
so
book.
many more questions.
I know, me too.
We'll talk about the book in the next
Yes.
episode.
Okay,
All right.
perfect.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
See you
Thank
next
you.
time. That's it for this week's shortlist. Thanks for listening.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, share it, leave a review, or let us know what's on your short list.
Shorts beyond measure, because the most important things in life can't be quantified.